has sent big tankers over there. And we can't lift a finger. We can't do anything. Oh, we need their permission. No, we don't need their permission.
This idiot has tried to blame, has come up with conspiracy theories that the blazes are the result of Indians or the aggressive NGOs targeting his government, as well as swiping at the Amazon's indigenous population who have fought the destruction of the rainforest for decades.
Oh, no, the Indians set the fires, really.
Bolsonaro said to reporters, according to the BBC, that it was the Indians. Do you want me to blame the Martians? This was his quote.
Can I play the BS clip again?
Yeah.
Yeah, the natives did it. No, they didn't. It's on record. They caught these people burning these miners, these cattle farmers.
There you have direct corporate influence over the government that boils down into the destruction of the environment. Mm-hmm. A plus B equals C.
Yeah, it certainly does.
And the C in this case is what we breathe. You know,
yeah.
He even said, well, hey, you leave us alone. We don't come to your country. Wait a minute.
The C is what we're breathing.
Of my world that I breathe. You don't, if my neighbor has nuclear waste in his basement, I don't care if he owns the basement or not.
Jack, the C that we're breathing now is called the carbon that's being released from these fires.
Exactly.
You know?
And instead of oxygen being produced by an area 10 times the size of Texas, I've read accounts that a fifth of it was where it was before has been destroyed. The last leader of Brazil was an environmentalist.
Yeah.
Set up all kinds of agencies. This guy, with the support of the Trump and the conservatives rising globally, has torn down all the advances they made.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and by the way, the former president of Brazil, I believe, is sitting in jail right now.
Yeah. Did you see DiCaprio donated $5 million of his own money to fight the fires?
Yeah.
In Brazil.
We need to do something.
Well,
first thing you need to do is you need to get rid of the conservative politicians. That's all conservative politicians.
Yep, exactly. We
send them to the unemployment line.
How Notre Dame was such a big story.
Yeah.
It dominated the news for 2 weeks, at least 1 week.
Exactly.
Instantly, there were pledges of millions of dollars. Millions from all over the place for a relic of religious domination that sat there for centuries, right? Mm-hmm. Seriously. That was built back when they took people that protested against Catholicism and tortured them. We've talked about that. A guy named Torquemada. If you doubt it, pick up a history book. So you want that preserved. Forget the rainforest, living treatment for every disease known to man, oxygen, save the crusty Notre Dame, and highlight it and make heroes out of the donators. What a difference.
Since you've mentioned religion, you were talking about Franklin Graham before the show. What was it that he said?
Yeah, Franklin came out and said school boards must be run by evangelical Christians.
Really?
And that he wanted them completely converted to Christian leadership in 6 years. Now, you're laughing?
What's he going to do? Like Clockwork Orange? Sit you in front of a screen and force you to watch it with your eyelids pried open?
He says that seriously because it happened in Florida. The head of the entire state school board is an anti-environmentalist, fundamentalist that got stuck into the fundamentalist state of Florida as their educational board leader. Mm-hmm. So when they say these things, they don't just say them. They work to pull them off. You know, I saw a quote this week. So the God who teaches us to love our enemies will torture his enemies forever in hell. Mm-hmm. Okay. They are vindictive.
Oh, they absolutely are.
There's nothing they like better than saying, okay, but you don't have to believe what I'm saying, but you're going to burn forever in hell. They love that. These are the idiots you want running your local school board. When it comes to tolerance to minorities in the schools, when you've got a gay student who's being picked on, you want somebody on the president of the school board to administer fair treatment. DeVos isn't. DeVos has gone and passed laws, Betsy, that takes all of the liable, I don't know the wording, out of existence. So a kid that's being picked on, you can't sue the district.
Oh, but Jack, you got to realize Christians are just inherently good people because they're Christians. As a matter of fact, we have an example of that as well for this week's show, but we have to play the appropriate music.
Stop. Hammer time.
Oh, yeah, it's hammer time. It's time to drop the hammer on the douchebag of the week. This comes out of Kentucky. Boy, we've got a lot of douchebags from that state, don't we?
Kentucky.
Mitch McConnell, Rand Paul, Ron Paul, Matt Bevins. Well, we can add one more to the list. I have this story. This is from WKYT Television. This is out of Winchester, Kentucky. Philip Todd Wilson is charged with 30 child pornography-related crimes. Wilson is the principal of the Technology Center located on the George Rogers Clark High School campus. Troopers say they received a complaint from someone at the high school saying that Wilson gave child pornography to someone else. In Wilson's arrest citation, officials say that he had approximately 15 child pornography images. He's charged with 15 counts of distribution of matter portraying sexual performance by a minor and 15 counts of possessing matter portraying sexual performance by a minor. Wilson was arraigned in court Wednesday and had a not guilty plea entered for him. He was assigned a public defender. The public defender requested for Wilson's $25,000 cash bond to be reduced to 10% of the total because he isn't a flight risk. The judge denied the request. Clark County Public Schools released a statement Wednesday morning saying the district is shocked and dismayed about the arrest and allegations. The district is working with law enforcement in the investigation, and it is working with the Kentucky Department of Education to ensure children in the program aren't affected. The Technology Center is operated by the Kentucky Department of Education, even though it is located at the high school. The department said it is cooperating with investigators. Wilson previously worked with Montgomery County and Madison County school districts, and he worked as a referee with the Kentucky High School Athletic Association. He is currently suspended as a referee. Wilson was taken to the Clark County Detention Center. Well, now, how did we get this story? Why is this news? Well, it turns out Raw Story did a follow-up using the WKYT story. This principal, back, I believe, in 2009, was in the middle of a book banning controversy. What was the content of the book that he didn't like? There were descriptions of homosexuality in the books, and he got the books banned. Illegally, by the way. He didn't follow the rules of the state of Kentucky to ban a book from the library. Actually, a teacher was using it. The teacher continued to use the book it wasn't required, but continued to use it if you wanted to as an elective. But then they got rid of it entirely. So, yep, this is what happens when you have, guess what? Evangelical Christians running schools. Right there's another example, the party of family values.
And speaking of Kentucky, wasn't Kentucky where the worker at a local school, not district, but seat of politics, government, I should say, refused to hand out marriage licenses?
Yeah, Lisa Davis.
And now they're trying to get the taxpayers to pay her. I don't know the whole story. She's still down there molting. Yeah. It's incredible.
It is. It's insane.
Totally.
So, Philip Todd Wilson is the winner of Douchebag of the Week.
Wear it with pride.
Yep. So, Mr. Wilson, for being a hypocrite, saying, I don't like depictions of homosexuality in children's textbooks, yet carrying allegedly images of children having sex, we've got this message for you.
Don't be a douchebag.
That's right. And I tell you what, if you're convicted, you'll probably win the award again.
You know, we're pointing out the dangers of a theocracy, okay? We live in West Michigan. Which is built on a religious tradition, starting with the billboard right in Holland where some old Dutch guy walked out and made the first church. Go down and find it.
Yep.
It's the beginning of the Christian Deformed Church right here in West Michigan. Well,
Stop stealing my lines.
Do you know, Darren, that the Christian Deformed Church believes that the proof that you're of God, that you're chosen and blessed of God, is your monetary position. If you're wealthy, that's proof to them.
Yeah.
Now, the book I read many years ago, I thought Jesus said, camels can't get in. It's a comparison between the eye and the needle. And if somebody came to him and said, what do I have to do to follow you? He said, give everything away, have one staff. The Bible and the New Testament is anti-materialistic. I don't care what anybody says. If you believe it's the basis of Christianity, you're in complete violation when you turn around and put a doctrine into West Michigan that says those people that have money, like the DeVosses, they are chosen of God. And when you believe that, the poor people, they don't have a right to rule. They don't have a right for input. You don't want them in the school board.
No.
It's the complete antithesis of what I thought Christianity stood for, is what exists here in this town. It permeates all of society. Darren, you have to think back in 1968, wasn't it? The movie The Graduate, where the girl was going to marry
72, I believe.
72, going to marry the rich guy, but he was total
I
jerk,
can't remember.
plastic. And the poet, the guy that wasn't going to go the corporate way, pulled her out of the arms of this neoliberal, and they went off poorly into the sunset in the back of a bus. That theme is gone now.
Yeah.
And we are looking at the advent of a combination of wealth and Christians into our government system.
Absolutely.
So what Franklin said is not just empty words.
No.
It's scary.
It is. It's definitely scary. All right, I want to get to our next story here, and this is about our favorite candidate, Bernie Sanders. I have this story. This is by InsideRadio.com. Inside Radio is a trade publication about the radio and television industry. They're owned by Tegna, the same people that own a whole bunch of television stations across the country, including our local ABC affiliate here, WZZM, is owned by Tegna. Well, they also own this website that they talk about the industry. This is dated August 28th. Bernie Sanders is not a fan of corporate mergers and acquisitions. As part of his 2020 agenda, the presidential candidate says that his administration, quote, would place aggressive checks on media mergers and acquisitions and increase antitrust enforcement of Silicon Valley in order to reform the media industry and better protect independent journalism, end of quote. That is according to a self-scribed proposal published Monday in the Columbia Journalism Review. The bottom line, according to the publication, quote, the Sanders plan offers the most comprehensive picture to date on how far he would go to rein in big media and big tech. It would effectively neuter the tech, media, and telecom industry from pursuing further consolidation and put a freeze on all substantive future mergers and acquisition activity. End of quote. For one, he writes, quote, we are not going to rubber stamp proposals like the new plan to merge CBS and Viacom into a $30 billion colossus. End of quote. As Inside Radio reported August 13th, after years of discussions, the two companies agreed to merge under the combined name of Viacom CBS Incorporated. The merger is designed to reunite the two entities that have operated separately for the past 13 years and includes well-known media brands such as Paramount Pictures, CBS, Showtime, and MTV. In addition, the Sanders plan would appoint federal officials, quote, who more stringently enforce antitrust laws, end of quote, to prevent Facebook and Google from doing financial harm to news organizations, put an immediate moratorium on major media mergers, quote, until we can better understand the true effect these transactions have on our democracy, end of quote, and require media corporations, quote, to disclose whether or not their corporate transactions and merger proposals will involve significant journalism layoffs, end of quote. Further, Sanders said he would require media corporations to give employees, quote, the opportunity to purchase media outlets through employee stock ownership plans, end of quote, before putting the company up for sale. Again, that's written in the Columbia Journalism Review. And in a proposal that would impact the radio and television industries, he said he would, quote, limit the number of stations that large broadcasting corporations can own in each market and nationwide, end of quote. Hold on. We are in agreement, Bernie. Last sentence,